Okay, welcome back. This is video number 2. We're going to talk about how to use the primary GPS tracking services that are included in the dash cam system. And you may have also bought a mobile video DVR system where you have more than, where you have multiple cameras. So with the BrickHouse system, you can mix and match dash cam systems with multi-camera DVR systems. So these instructions apply to all of the above, okay? So whenever you buy this type of system, it comes with the full slate of GPS tracking features in the BrickHouse Locate system, and that is the dashboard that we're looking at right now. So I'd like to talk about how to set this up for day-to-day use. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is if you see a red X at the top this is called the monitoring panel on the left here, where you see the vehicles. If you see a red X, then click it to remove everything from the list. And if you don't see it, then you should see this icon here. This is how you switch between group view and unit view. So click it, back and forth a couple of times so that you get to unit view, which is just the three little lines on the menu bar, rather than this has three little lines with a kind of the top line kind of sticks over to the left, like in other words, it's a group. So go back to unit view by switching to unit view, and then click on the recycle button, and that'll add the entire fleet automatically to the monitoring panel. So it says, use this option so that all units available will be added to the panel automatically. And in this case, 28 units will be added automatically. Continue, yes. So now you're going to see all your units in the panel, okay? Now, I'd like you to drag the left side of the panel. You can see it turns into an arrow. Drag it way over as far as you have icons. Well, it looks like it's going to keep on going forever. So drag it over quite a ways, because we're going to customize this panel, and then when we're done, we'll drag it back to the best size, okay? So basically, I want to customize the panel with these three little dots here. So I would suggest that you turn on the following. Click on the three little dots in the top of the panel, and this is all the stuff that you can display in the panel or not display in the panel. Anything with a left check mark is already turned on to go in the left panel, okay? Anything with a right check mark is hidden. And what I mean by that, this little down arrow with a circle around it here, that's called an additional menu. And anything that we don't put in the main panel automatically ends up in the additional panel, so what we want to do is we want to move some relevant things to the main panel rather than having to go through this little drop down to choose them. So I'll show you how I would set it up, and then you can always change it to your own taste. So click on the three little dots, turn on location on the left check mark, turn on drivers, turn on unit tracking, motion state, data recency, connection state, quick track, messages, quick report, media, and commands. And you could leave properties in the right check mark, okay? So you can just kind of copy what I've done here. And then when you're finished, just click over on the map and it'll automatically change to show everything we just selected. Okay, so now we're displaying all these little icons in the system. Now what we're going to do, I'm just going to drag this a little bigger for now, because what I want to do, and by the way, click the three dots again and make sure addresses is turned on. I would turn it on, I think. Let me just make sure I know what I'm doing. Yeah, so we want to have geofences displayed over here where it says San Diego office, and we want to have the primary address on the left. So to do that, I would choose address at the top here and then choose geofences here. And then for drivers, choose image and name, and then click on the map, to update it. Okay. Now, if you hover your mouse, if you hover your mouse up at the top, right up above you see where my mouse is, then you can see it turns into a little line here, like where I can move things around. So drag the address so you can see what's relevant. I don't need to see California, but I do need to see San Diego and the address. So drag it to fit the whole address. And then you probably don't have any geofences yet, but drag that over, make it about this big. Okay, and then drag this over to the right of the steering wheel and make sure the right side of it is just past the additional menu, and these all look kind of nice, okay? So that's how you customize your monitoring panel. And now, the one thing I forgot to put in here, let's see here. Let me just, I've got a sort by name function at the top here where I can alphabetically sort by name and number, For the moment, I'm going to click add all units to the work list. Click on the plus sign and add all units to the work list. And the reason I want to do that is because I want this red to the right of the drop-down menu is a red X when you hover over it. There's also a red X right at the top. And this is how you set what's going to be active in your list. I've got a bunch of vehicles that are not even installed yet. And I've got a bunch of other ones that are installed. So I don't need to look at stuff that's not available. So what I can do is I can just remove anything, or maybe if you have a vehicle broken down, or not installed, or he's on the other side of the country or whatever, you could just remove him from the list by hitting the red X. So what I'm doing is I'm clearing everybody out of the list that isn't totally up to date, installed, and working, because I want this list to reflect the reality of my day-to-day business. So I'm just going to make sure that everything that's relevant is in the panel and nothing that is not relevant is in the panel, if that makes sense. Okay. I'm going to remove this guy here because his vehicle has not been named properly. Should have a proper vehicle name. So I'm going to remove him temporarily. And now you see I have a nice, neat list of all the vehicles that are on the air and work that are installed and working. And I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger so I can see the driver's name better. You're not going to see driver name yet, so don't worry about that. We'll show you how to do that in a bit. You won't have this driver name. You'll just have an empty steering wheel, and you won't have any geofences yet either. But we'll show you how to create one of those too. So I'm going to just size this so that I can just see the red X. There we go. So that's perfect. Now I don't need my whole screen to be map, because when I want to look where a vehicle is, I can scroll right down to street level, and I can see exactly where he is. There's other ways. We really don't need the map to take up the whole monitor. This stuff is more important. As you get to know this, you'll appreciate it. So the first thing you've done now is set up your monitoring panel, and now the next thing you've set up, so that the relevant vehicles are in the list, and you can, don't be afraid to play with this list. Okay, I can just remove the whole list by going clear list, and then I can just click this little recycle thing, which automatically adds everybody back to the list, or I can add units or groups, or I can add everything. So, and then when you go to, this gets a little bit technical. I don't want to get into all this right now, but we have all sorts of ways you can add units to the list. I can add all the names that start with the word truck, or I can certain devices or certain groups, and and there's all sorts of things you can do. So for now, I'm just going to go add all available, And there they go, and I'm back to where I was. So sorry to be redundant here. I'm just going to clear those guys off. And there we go. All right, so now that we've done that, I want to go through what each one of these icons means so you understand this, okay? So the first thing is this check mark. Now, if I click the check mark at the top, it automatically is going to put check marks on every one of them. Or I can check it again and they all disappear and I can just choose whatever I want. But basically, and let me zoom out from the map here. Okay, so the check mark simply decides whether you want the vehicle icon on the map, yes or no. Sometimes, you may have a vehicle in the work list, but maybe he's not working today, he's working tomorrow, and maybe I don't want to look at his vehicle on the map because he's not working anyway. So I could just simply uncheck him, and he's still in the work list, but he's not on the map. So that's the check mark is simply, is the icon on the map or not? You can see here I've got van 4 here. If I uncheck van 4, boom, his icon is gone. Check it again, and boom, his icon is back again, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, which vehicles do I want to track on the map? Yes, this puts the icon on the map, but this is what we call a fleet zoom function. So for example, if I choose vehicle 4 only, I'm going to zoom right into street level with the plus sign on the map here, or I can use the scroll bar on the mouse. I can zoom right in. And then I'm going to click this compass looking icon off and then on again. And boom, you see how it centered him right in the middle of the map. And so if he was to start driving right now, he would stay in the center of the map the whole time I'm watching him. It would automatically stay centered on the map. Now, if I chose another vehicle, the map will automatically size to fit both of the guys that I've selected. And if any one of them starts driving, it'll automatically adjust the map so they're both always in view. So this is what we call a fleet zoom function. Sometimes I only want, if I want to just watch one particular vehicle in real time as he's cruising along, I might want to, uncheck them all at the top here by going like this and just unchecking every one of them, and then just check the one I want to follow, and the map will automatically center that vehicle. Or sometimes I just want the map to automatically size to fit the entire fleet, okay? So step one is choose the check marks of what icons are going to be on the map, and step two is to choose the vehicles that you're interested in kind of eyeballing at this given moment in time, okay? And you can just uncheck them all by going click at the top and then choose whatever you like, and the map will automatically refresh, and so on. Okay, so that's what that is. That's a fleet zoom function. If I want to follow a vehicle, I don't have to do it that way, by the way. I could simply just double click on van 11, and he will open up in his own map. And now I can drag that map anywhere I want on my screen. And as he drives around, he's going to stay centered in that map. And I can adjust the size of that map, and even other what kind of map I want to look at, and all sorts of other interesting information. So, and I can have multiple mini maps open just by double clicking on any vehicle, and then I can arrange those any way I like, and I can have the whole fleet on the main map and each other guy in his own individual map, and so on. So that's another way to kind of keep your eye on a particular vehicle. You don't necessarily have to do anything on the main system here, okay? So now let's talk about these other icons. So this is the driver icon. We'll get into drivers later in another video. We have the ability of being able to manually assign drivers to vehicles, which is very easy to do. Or we can even do it automatically if you have some sort of a driver ID set up that we will talk about later, okay? Now, we talked about this particular icon, which is the map zoom function. Now, this is the motion state function, And that basically puts an icon on the map. You'll get to know what these icons mean. If I hover over top any one of them, then I can see this guy hasn't moved for 23 days. This guy, has been stationary for 1 hour and 22 minutes. This guy's been stationary for 2 hours, 2 days, whereas these people have their engine on right now. This guy's been parked for 29 minutes with the engine on. This guy's been parked for 50 minutes with the engine on, and so on. And I can sort the map by motion state as well. By the way, if they were moving right now, it's kind of later in the day, so these guys are not moving around much, but normally there'd be a bunch of them that would be on the air live. And by the way, the next icon, which is the little dot here, that's a green dot. If that dot is green, it means the ignition is on. Okay, so I could sort that way too. If I clicked on the connection state, then I could sort with all the guys that have ignition on, and they would all be at the top of the system. But I can also sort by the motion state. And if they were moving right now, there'd be a green circle instead of a red circle. So you'll get to know those motion state icons. This next icon is the number of visible satellites and the last location detected. So again, I could sort by data recency, we call that. That's location recency. We could sort with all, these guys, haven't had satellites detected in a couple of days, because the vehicle has not been on. So you can click on the top of any one of these to sort the vehicles, by that methodology. But that's what that is. So that's motion state, and that's data recency. That's connection state, whether ignition is on or not. And this is the quick track function, which simply shows everywhere the vehicle has been today. And that will bring up a color-coded track of everywhere he's been today. It's basically a toggle switch. You notice it's now a red S. It's like an S track, like a racetrack. I can just click it again and it disappears off the map and turns black. If I click it again, the map sizes to show it. It turns red on here. And, and I can zoom in as far as I want. And if I zoom in far enough, I'll see things like, speed and time and things like that. I can just hover my mouse over any one of the points on the map, and it will automatically display all the relevant information about that vehicle, the address, the time, etc. Okay, so that's the quick track function, and we'll get more into history playback in a different video. This is just a quick way of looking at where he's been today. It's not the best way to do it. It's just a quick way to do it. The best way to do it is over here on the track tab, which we'll get into in a separate video. So just don't forget to turn this off so you don't crowd the map with that trail. Okay, now this is the message function, which is raw data. Sometimes it's nice to see raw data. We'll get into the reasons why. And this is now, I've clicked it and I'm now seeing a bunch of raw data. And we'll get into why that's useful later on. So I'm just going to, anytime you pull up messages, make sure you click the clear button here. You can see that it put a trail on the map as well as shows all their messages down here. There's 2,061 messages today from this vehicle. And I can show, 50 messages or 100 or 500 at a time, and then scroll down. I can see every single message. And we'll get into why you might want to do that later on. But don't forget to clear it so you clear the map of all that stuff. Okay? Go back to the monitoring panel at the top here. And that was the message function. This is a trip and parking function. What this is a one-touch report. And you could pick any report you like. If I click on the 3 dots, you can see that on the quick report, I chose the trip and parking report, but if I wanted to, I could choose a speeding report or whatever I want. I happen to think that the trip and parking report is the most useful. So now I can bring it up on any vehicle with a single click. So here it comes, and I can see everywhere this vehicle parked today, how long he parked for, everywhere he started the trip, where did he start, where did he end, what and how long was the trip, and then he parked for 3 hours and 42 minutes, and then he went on a 53-minute trip going from here to there. This is a very useful report. And we'll get into reports in more detail in another training video. So don't forget, and also you can see that I can zoom in on the map and I can see it's, when I pulled up that report, it pulled up all the parking events and all the trip events. It put a parking sign, and it's nice because I can hover over any one of them and I can see where he parked and how long he parked for. So it allows me to eyeball that on the map, which is a useful feature. Okay. Again, don't forget, and by the way, I can export that to a PDF with a single click by choosing on the right side, Export to PDF or Excel. And I just chose PDF, and that'll automatically put a PDF report there. So there's the trip and parking report for that vehicle. There's all of his, that's a pure chronological look at his day. And here is this is a chronicle look at just the trips. Whoops, sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. And I fouled up there. Pull it up again here. So I'm showing a chronological playback of his entire day, and then I just show the trips, and then I just show the parking. So you can, it's very useful. If parkings represent money to most fleets. If I'm parked, I'm probably making money. I'm probably at a job site. I'm cleaning somebody's furnace ducts or working on a construction site or whatever I'm doing. Usually, when you're at a site, you're parked. And so, this report can be very useful for helping measure the time you were at a job site, which sometimes relates to billable hours. So it can be very useful. So, anyway, that's that report. So don't forget to clear that when you're done. Then go back to the monitoring panel. Okay, so we talked about that icon. I'm going to have to talk about these icons in a different video because nobody's on the air live right now. Basically, a triangle here is going to light up dark black whenever the vehicle's online. So in other words, if the green dot is on, this will also be a dark black. And what that is allows me to take a snapshot of any camera in the vehicle. And so, but the vehicle has to be online before I can take a snapshot out of a camera in real time. And nobody's online at this given moment. So let's just make sure nobody is online. I'll just add the entire fleet to the system here just to make sure. No, nobody's online. It's too late in the day. So that's my bad for picking a bad time to do this video. But anyway, we'll show you later. The snapshot function is a very useful function. So we'll show that in the next video, okay? If you do take a snapshot, then when the snapshot's available, it lights up this mountain range. And that's what that icon is for. So we'll show that in the next video as well. And then the last icon is the additional menu we talked about, which is anything with a right check mark in this list. Okay, so if I click that, you can see that there's trailers and other things. One of the things that I didn't put on the list was the properties. That's basically the settings for a vehicle, and that is a wrench. So if I want to change the name, like let's change the name here. Let's find a vehicle here's a vehicle that's installed but not named yet. Let's pretend we know the name of this vehicle. We'll call it Truck 99, okay? So I'm going to click the drop-down arrow and the wrench, and then I'm going to go to the icon tab, or actually the name tab. I'll copy this so I can put it back when I'm done here. And we'll just call it Truck 99 and click OK. All right, so that's now Truck 99. Okay, that's as simple as you like. It's very simple to rename a truck. I'll go back and name it back again to what it was, and I'll just paste what I saved and go OK. Now I can also change the icon the same way. Open up the properties, go to the icon tab, and and choose whatever icon you like. We'll choose a green truck and click OK, and that'll change to a green truck now. And I'll change it back now. And by the way, I can also do this in the Units tab. The Units is another name for vehicles. So if I wanted to, I could go to Units, and now I can see the wrench on every vehicle. And then I could go to this vehicle here and change his icon that way as well. Okay, I'm not sure what vehicle that was. That's 057. So we'll go to Units. We'll go to 057, the green truck. We'll go to Icon. We'll go to Icon Library. We'll change it back to a white van and go OK. We'll go back to the monitoring panel, and there you go. So there's lots more, obviously, we can get into in here. We'll talk more about units later. I don't want to get anyone too confused at this point in time. So that is the second training video on how to set up your monitoring panel, how to do a quick track, how to do a quick report. And in the next video, we'll get into how to take snapshots and how to pull up some other reports and things like that. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. Come back and check out the next video as soon as you can. Thank you very much.